Yes, 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 yes. This is the day that I have been waiting for a while now. And I am so pleased to bring today to you all. Um, Going on, Ice Wolf, Steven, how you doing? Boy, oh boy, this is going to be. What's going on, Doug? This is going to be a busy Thursday. Doug will tell you I'm not lying. We've got some stuff to show you. I honestly, I have so much to go over. I had a little list of the order to do these things in. And I revisited it about 7 times, and I don't like any of the 7 times that I redid it. So I'm going to do it the best way I know how, and that's just to throw up different things that we did today into a giant wastebasket, and we'll just pick out the chunks that we like. How is that for an analogy? So first and foremost, I'm about to hit a button. It's a simple button. It's a button that I have. What's going on, gentlemen? Built that I have on DCDcollects.com. And what this button will do is it'll make a lot of people very happy. All right. So we're going to let that marinate for a little bit. And then we're going to jump on to the fun stuff. As everybody knows, if you go to DCDcollects.com, we have only eight of the animated SIG series, intergalactic animated SIG series. And we were really looking at the product and we said, wow, we have 8 of those left. 2 of the big hits are still left in there. A 1:4 ratio, it's okay, but it's not DCD Collect okay. So Uncle Doug and T Dog, aka T Money, aka the man with a plan, said, let's dig into our reserves and let's give some stuff away so that we really get that product going. Oh, Steven is like, yeah, From the Vault pre-sale is live. See, that was one of the chunks I was hoping somebody would pull out. Hey, Kevin P. West. Speaking of, never mind. I'll hold my tongue on that one. This is going to be great. So From the Vault, this one is nasty. We finalized it today. It is all Doug's art. I don't believe a single piece of this was with the intent of putting it in this product. This was Trevor and I tying Doug to an office chair and saying, this table of art, we need 25 pieces at least. We got 25 lots of pieces because very few of them are single pieces. You are not allowed to leave until you have sacrificed 25 lots full of stuff. And it took about a week of him being tied to a chair. You will stay there until I'm done explaining, and you will like it. Plus, Hannah is sleeping now better than ever. This has been a great week for her. Don't ruin it. So he was so eager to go home to his family. He actually made 26 lots of action-packed and unbelievable, mind-blowing art, including 2 lots containing Joe Rubenstein, the Hall of Famer himself, numerous Gus Mauk pieces, and cozies are in there, and it's bonkers, and it's his personal stash. As soon as I finish this video, Doug, I will untie you. What I want to know is, how did you manage to get to a computer? It's at least 40 feet away from you. I'm envisioning him knocking over the chair and belly crawling to the keyboard and using a pencil in his teeth to type out that paragraph. That's just my visual. So we have that announcement. And for those who pre-order, now we will not be opening that product until I'm using straws. I MacGyvered it. It's fitting considering you do have a MacGyver knife at your house or in the office. For those who pre-order that item, now that is gonna drop maybe next Thursday. If enough of them sell, we will drop it next Thursday. We are aiming for next Friday. But if you impatient fans of really good art push us, we may release it on that Thursday, but Friday is the plan. But for those who pre-order, I actually left my my focus button open just for this moment right here. Now I just got to edit it to the right focus. That's about right. We did lose another amazing artist in Carlos Pacheco. That is true. Unfortunately, the legends are at that age, and well, in Carlos's case, way too young. Everybody that pre-orders will be put in for the drawing. The cutoff will be Thursday when I go live. And it does kind of look like Maddie. You will be in the running. One random lucky winner will not only win this, but this as well, the matched pair. So some bonus art for the early birds. Lokis. And then, depending on how many are sold, let me introduce you to Satana. Not Zatanna, Satana. And this piece comes with a very interesting story that Doug gets a chuckle out of every time he tells it. That story will be released when we release the piece to a lucky winner. So there is incentive to jump on that early. Speaking of incentive, as I had mentioned briefly before, Trevor, as well as Doug, have authorized some giveaways. Every single person that buys a box of that animated is going to be put into a drawing. There are multiple, and I do mean multiple. I'm not going to disclose a number because I don't want you guys to stack the deck. But there are multiple items that will be randomed at the end of the night once all of the applicable boxes have been purchased. And even if we only sell 2 boxes, we're still going to random some stuff. So I highly recommend jump on that offer. Believe me, you wanna. Is there still a Zeb bounty? If you pull a Zeb autograph or a Zeb piece of art, I am still going to honor that bounty, even though I took it off the board. One of the big main prize, or actually what I consider the big main prize, it's subjective because all of the prizes are actually really cool for this giveaway. um, is a small box of cards that I will open for you that we just got in, and quite frankly, I just want to open it. So what better way than to have you buy a box and me open it for you? And speaking of opening, that brings me to the next thing. Now, as some of you know, I have become. The sound is quiet. All right, how about now? Craig says I'm quiet. All right. Um, some of you may know that it's got to be over a year ago now. I actually it's got to be close to 2 years now. I had really gotten into the card art scene, and I had the privilege of interviewing Donnie B. And following up that interview, I actually got to interview a gentleman by the name of Card Killer. Now, Card Killer is primo, in my opinion. I actually own a couple of his pieces. Doug owns a few of them as well, right there and there, from the Mayhem breaks. Um, Card Killer had reached out to me. He dropped a project and said, "Hey, man, uh, you remember back in the day," and I'm paraphrasing, uh, offered to do voice work. I said, anytime you want a project, let me know. I got it. And for those who follow me and for those who follow Card Killer, and if you don't, I highly recommend you do. Now, Card Killer is not affiliated with DCD Collects. However, I personally, DCD the Breaker, DC the Breaker, um, am a big fan of his, and I've turned a lot of you people already on to him. As Ice Wolf and Creepa will tell you, you can actually see them in the followed by. So Card Killer dropped the ultimate chase and asked me if I would do the voice work promo for it, which absolutely I said I would because it is an honor to be helping out an absolute legend in the card art community and a very established artist as well. Not only is it card art, he actually does multiple mediums. He is a fantastic painter. He even sculpts these absolutely amazing large pieces after masters that he uses cut up cards and metal to make, in addition to visual arts that he does. Um, what's up, Don? Don, it's because you work around machinery, man. So if you go to Card Killer's Instagram, he does have a link for the project he dropped. It's called The Ultimate Chase. Now, when he went to the National, he did a piece of art called the Darth Mantle, and it was insane. To celebrate that amazing piece of art, he's actually made a bunch of cards, 199 cards that he is doing in a mystery box form. Um, and when he asked me, he's like, "Hey, just send me a bill for the voice work," because I he gave me some points to make. I did concept, then I recorded, mixed, and edited to be 45 seconds. And I said, "Listen, how about we just trade art for art? I will absolutely do this for you and have it done toot sweet. You just send me something awesome." Now, for those who follow him, you saw he did a live stream with Donnie B yesterday. And the product launched today, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard. It is available right now. And this morning, I received, and I'm obviously covering to protect our identities, I received this in the mail. This is from Card Killer. This is something he actually mentioned that he had made specifically for me in his video in the live stream that they did. I have not opened it. I figured what better way to share the moment than with all of you so that you can see this amazing product, because I do know kind of what it is. I haven't seen it yet. So, with no further ado, how about we take a look inside the Card Killers package? Well, there it is. Loyal Luke, Blender of Zombie, Card Killer. And here's the breakdown. You're going to be chasing 50 silvers, 25 reds, 10 blacks, and 4 101s, including a super fractor, which is called the Killer Fractor. It's a note, excuse me, it's personal, so I will be reading that off camera. Oh, Card Killer, thanks, man. Beautiful note, thank you. Thank you. Oh, oh man. Check that out. Black bordered. And look at this. It's numbered 00 out of 10. 00 out of 10. It's the 00. That is awesome. What an amazing piece to the PC. That Card Killer, thank you, my friend. Absolutely phenomenal. And if you look, there is a lot of really good references to Star Wars on the back. Dig it. Very nice, man. 00 out of 100. How amazing. That is sensational. Yo, man, is yours out of 10, bro? Mine's 0 out of 10. That's how elite that is. That is throne worthy. Absolutely spectacular. Whew. Wow. That is wow. All right. Well, that's one way to kick off a show. So, um, I had a hint. He did mention in the video that he was going to make a special edition for us. So I knew it was going to be Star Wars related. I figure what better way to finish off the Star Wars animated than to open it up with a nice little piece like that. Outstanding. All right, so I have I don't have words for it. That's great. That's super dope. Super dope. Now, speaking of dope projects, we not only had an amazing day putting together an absolute banger of a From the Vault break. We also have reached out to some artists and have pulled from Doug's collection another very specific line of art. So this is something that's not going to necessarily be dropping next week, but is something that we are working very hard on. Something that the last time we did it sold out in, I think, 72 hours. Not even 48 hours, I think, the last time we did one. Hey, Doug, what else did we work on today? Salute. Some real American heroes for sure. I know that we have some G.I. Joe fans out there. And as some of you know, and most of the G.I. Joe fans know, there's a very important comic book coming out in a few weeks. We figured that we would warm you up to the idea. What's going on, Hellbolt? I love you, man. That we would warm you up to that idea with. Did we drop the name of it yet, Doug? Would you like the honor of dropping the name of that precursor to the big one? I like to get Doug involved. Most of these are his conceptual idea. And it again, he's typing with a straw in his mouth, so it'll take a minute. We have not dropped the name, and the name is The Art of War. Nope, Sun Tzu is not involved with this one yet. But this is a conglomerate of amazing pieces. Veterans for Veterans tomorrow. Yes, The Art of War is going to be. So it started off cool. It's going to have some cards in it. It's going to have two very well known and dear to us artists involved. It is going to be a banging run of boxes. And it is now a pretty massive item because Doug managed to get some unbelievable bangers to pepper into this run. We're talking comics. We're talking original art. We're talking cards. We are maybe even talking a Funko, a limited edition Funko. It's going to be, wait for it, epic. Speaking of amazing artists that are near and dear to us, Kaiser. Que pasó, mi amigo? We were just talking G.I. Joe, and Kaiser's ninja hearing kicked in, and he's like, wait, DC said, G.I. Joe? I better go. Who doesn't like them some Kaiser? So yeah, we finally dropped that we're doing the project, Brian, and we're talking a little bit about it, talking about some of the things we found to put in there to make it uber special. But it's about to be a pretty nasty little thing. It is. So we worked on that today. We worked on the sketch cover break today, aka we've got you covered. We worked on From the Vault today, cause why not? We should have had Kaiser put some of his throwing stars in the box. As long as it's the ones that are made of popsicle sticks that intertwine, that break apart when you throw them against the wall, we're good. Oh, treat is a great way to put it because these boxes are absolute treats. Um, at one point, we kind of looked at the hits and we're like, is that too many hits? Should we pull some hits back? I mean, it's fun to spoil all of you, but we can't spoil you all the time. Or else it wouldn't be spoiling, it would be status quo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Steven? Steven, you got. I know you got Elvin Hernandez's big piece. Did you get the Kaiser? Which Kaiser did you get? Too many hits, DC and Trevor ignore me and put in more. it's legitimately a true statement. It's legitimately a true statement. It is. It is. It is. I will admit, on the unconventional break, I was the one that was like, "Whoa, pump the brakes." On this one, Doug's like, "That's a lot, guys." We're like, "Yeah, but look at this, and look at this. Oh, and look at this." His office is in the next room. He does leave, and we do absolutely just go, "Okay, Doug. All right, Trevor, he's gone. Put it in. Put it in. Take a picture." Oh, and here's one thing. So this, hey, listen, you guys can blame me for this one. From the vault, I did some sneak peeks. Sorry, Doug. I did some sneak peeks, and I did say when I was doing the sneak peeks that not all items may end up in the final break, and many more items will likely be added to the break. And both of those ended up being true. Now, I can tell you everything I showed you will be in the vault break, except, and this is my fault because I am greedy and self centered, and it's me, 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 me. I convinced Doug that putting in the Gus Mauk Ghost Rider would be a bad idea because I want to look at it, and it's too nice. And it's sitting right over there, so I can look at it. And if we put it in there, I wouldn't be able to see it again. So I have convinced Doug to remove that from the break. What's going on, Ruru 2? So just, there's, he's got. You should probably put a camera in here because it's just me sitting with Ghost Rider going, yes. So that has been removed from that run. Now, because I convinced Doug to keep that for my own selfish gains, Doug said, well, if we're giving that up, we're going to have to put something pretty good in its place. And to quote my son, OMG, yeah, he put in a huge 2-character banger replacement featuring Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch. Can I show the Lokis again? You mean you want me to show her the picture of her? So for people who pre-order, you will have a shot. One person will walk away with both of these Lokis. Trying to give them equal screen time. And another item. And for those who, Strange Scarlet Witch piece by Cross. Cross did one of my absolute favorite pieces, which was a Zatanna, Doug says. So yes, we did pull that. And it was I was like, Doug, you need to keep that. Because secretly I want it. Keep that. And then he's like, well, fine, then this is going in. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's a good move. That's a good move. So it's pretty great. That person will be Madison. Maddie. Oh, Steven. You got yourself a firecracker, bud. That person will be Madison. Tell them that. Type that in the chat. Tell them, Steven, that person will be Madison. Yes, she does. She does. So that is going to be one of the giveaways. Again, not to beat a dead horse, I am not joking when I say I have mountains of stuff to give away for the Star Wars. These last 8 boxes. In addition to the signed comic that is in there. In addition to the dual signed, I should say, Lee Cozy drawn and signed plus Darth Vader autographed piece. There are 2 boxes worth of 2 boxes worth of giveaways. The Demanding Dragon. That nickname is gonna stick. Start calling Maddie Dee Dee. Hey, Dee Dee. So yeah, we have lots in store for you. It's just a matter of you going, yeah, I want a bunch of free swag to go with the stuff I'm paying for. And then we go, okay, here's free swag. Hellbolt says, sorry, no ITV breaks for me. I need to, hey, that's all good, man. Tay-Tay tickets are important. Ooh, excuse me. So, for those who don't know, the last time we did a From the Vault break, I think there was 24 or 25 boxes. I want to say it was like 24. She's no Bob the Dragon. That's right. She's no Bob the Dragon. Bourbon, I think, bought like 17 of the 25 spots. And half of those were framed and are hanging in his house right now. It's no joke. I've seen the photographs. So yes, the From the Vault break number 1, I want to say it sold out in 48 hours. Because Bourbon snatched up, I'm not exaggerating, I believe it was 17 of them. I'm not kidding. I may even have it. Hold on. Let me fish through my past. I try to save almost everything we do. So let me take a peek. Oh goodness. Excuse me. Nom, 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 nom. Shared. There we go. Oh wait, here it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't show you the sheet because this one has everybody's real name on it, and I'm not going to dox anybody. 1, 2. It was out of 25. 20. Of the 25, Bourbon bought 20. Hey, art collectors, I'm going to let that sink in. The last time we did this run, Bourbon bought 20. This one has more pieces of art in it. There's 26 total spots, and there's got to be, Doug, correct him, Byron, there's got to be like 40 pieces of art split up amongst those 26 spots. Got to be close to 40. What's going on, Chef? Chef, we were just talking about the last time we did a From the Vault break. Bourbon bought 20 of the 25 spots. Well, we're about to do another one. Easily 40 pieces. Easily 40 pieces in here. Most of these spots have multiple pieces of art. I think one of them has 5. And the ones that are by themselves are large format for the most part. Or like full color, full figure. And if you know anything about getting commissions, a full figure, full color is very expensive. I don't care the artist. My artist friends in the chat will tell you, and I'm not saying it's expensive as in not worth it. I'm saying it's expensive in comparison to doing a headshot, a profile, or just a pen and ink. It's not cheap to get a full character, full color. That's what I'm saying. Kevin P. West is like, I am dirt cheap. As a matter of fact, I pay DCD Collects to put my stuff in products so I can do commission. That's a lie. I couldn't even finish the lie without laughing. So there you go. Kevin P. West is open for commissions. Flood the DMs. Let that man eat cake. All right, Doug, appreciate it, man. Tell the family I said hello. Wait a second. How did you get out of the chair? How are you leaving? Now, I can't even sneak any of those to show you. So, you remember when I said Doug typically doesn't watch the videos? So Doug watched the video that I did all the sneak peeks. So he made Trevor take them home. They're not in the building. I can't even give you sneak peeks. I'm being punished. Hey, it's worth it. So yeah, I don't have anything to show you because they took all of it away from me. I don't have any of the products that are coming out because I'm grounded. I'm in timeout. My sneak peeks are on timeout because of my bad behavior. My son is in college at Western Michigan in the engineering robotics program. Yes, Kevin P. West needs commissions. Yes, he does. Speaking of Chef, I dropped a box in the mail that I think was 16 by 10 by 12 for you. Just saying. Chef, you have a large box coming. And I added packing peanuts because somebody sent us something with packing peanuts and they got everywhere. And I said, you know what? I'm going to annoy Chef by giving him packing peanuts. You're welcome. Kaiser says, love inking. It was 2 weeks. Yes. It weighed 8 pounds? The box weighed 8 pounds? Yeah. Yeah, it did. It weighed 8 pounds. It's true. It is true. Ice Wolf. I will be packaging yours up and I will be sending yours out by the end of the week. I do know that the trade happened. For those who are not aware, you sit. Mr. Tillman is like, you sit on a throne of lies when you say things like that, DC. it's true, but if I sit on a throne of lies, I am sitting very close to the floor. That is what I will tell you. Um, I will send Ice Wolves out. Ice Wolf did manage to do a trade, so the Audrey 2 is going to the real Audrey. Bowser Big Bean Burrito, what is up? How are you doing? There you go, Chef. Stir up the thread and run. But yeah, so that's happening. Actually, Stephen, believe it or not, I still have yours. I'm actually looking at them. My issue is two of the items are too big for the boxes I have. So I'm in the process of actually acquiring another box for yours. Worst case scenario, I'll hand deliver them to you at just me driving to you. I just don't want to bend anything. But yeah, Ice said to hold it because he knew trades were coming. Well, the big trade went off, and the other trades also were handled. So, Ice Wolf, I can send you yours now. I will box yours up after this show. There. Excellent. So Steven just said, save it for in person, no rush. That means I have a date with Steven. Let's hash out the date. Honestly, if you ever get a chance to hang out with Steven, if you're in the greater LA area and you just want to hang out with Steven, I highly recommend it. To be able to talk about life and art and film and fun, there's very few people outside of my already tiny inner circle that are that great in conversating. Those of you who know you're in my inner circle already know about those conversations. And I'm looking to broaden my circle. Stephen and Maddie. I can't leave Dee Dee out. Where are the two newest people in my inner circle? People that I would easily take a brutal knifing for. That's how much I love those two. The music has already invaded your household. There we go. I got in a card this week. I kind of was Oh no. So Ice Wolf said, Stephen, hey, fair warning. I got a card this week to cut, and when it's done, if I pull off what's in my mind, I suspect Maddie is gonna really want to get her hands on it. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. Love you, man. Chef said I showed my daughter the Herman Munster and Tarkin stream. I did not realize they were in the background the first time. So I am. Oh, Hellbolt, you already know. If you all, I'll talk about this more in a minute. If you guys don't realize that I am peppering my background with Easter eggs every single week, then you're really not paying attention. Easter egg. Easter egg. Easter egg. Easter egg. Easter egg. Hmm. You mean DC? There's a bunch of Easter eggs? Yeah, Easter egg. Uh huh. So, for those who pay attention, you may see stuff coming up that we absolutely are purposefully placing behind me for those who are eagle eyed. Now, what I have placed in front of me is a Star Wars shadow art box, the Dagobah Swamp. It is a culture fly item. This is one of the things that will be given for free to somebody who grabs one of these boxes right here. I got a gift today from Doug. Yeah. Hello, what have we here? Doug's like, hey man, I found this. I was gonna give it away, but I think you'll appreciate it more than anybody else. For those who don't know, I'm a big Lando fan. The reason I'm a Lando fan is because there's not a lot of Lando fans, and I think Lando deserves way more respect than he gets. So this is my new. The magnet is not that strong. There's my new notepad. Oh my goodness, it's a Lando pen? Get out of here. Oh, it writes in deceit. Amazing. Hey man, sometimes you gotta give the breakers some perks too. Slanche. Kevin says, I have to do this before I forget. Jeet. Yeah, man, we looked bad. I am gonna actually, I'm gonna let you in on a secret. This is not a lie. I'm not saying this. I did not watch the game. I did not see a single snap of that game. I missed it. Um, I'm gonna preface this story. I'm prefacing the story with he's okay. He's okay. Sunday we had to take James to the ER. Again, he's okay. He's fine. Take care, Kaiser. But James had a very bad fever spike. And it caused him like in the middle of the night to like straight up fever dream. Like he was hallucinating. We're talking 103 plus. Hellbolt, is it the nothing for nothing trade? Because if it's 2 heaps of nothing for nothing, I sanction that trade. So we gave him a little Tylenol. The fever broke a little bit, but when he woke up, he was hot again, and it was creeping up over 101. So we're like, we're gonna take him to the ER. We just want to make sure. Got the COVID swab, got the throat culture swab, and they gave him a higher dose, like a doctor's dose of Tylenol, and his fever broke. But my Sunday morning, being on the West Coast, my 1 o'clock Eastern games are at 10 a.m. So I was actually in the ER for a good portion of the game, and when I came home, I was exhausted. I was not in the mood to watch the game. So the Buffalo Bills actually lost because I didn't watch the game. So I will take the blame for the team. But no, I honestly didn't see a single play. Literally not a single play. I saw one highlight while the game was still on, and that was Josh Allen's 36-yard rush. But I literally didn't see it. Now, this Sunday, I will be catching the game at 10 a.m. I am absolutely not going to miss it. Even Mrs. The Breaker was like, "You're not missing it. You're staying home." Yeah, it's all right, Hellbolt. Like I said, he's fine. It was just a fever. He did not have COVID. He did not have any viral infection. He just got hit with a hard fever. Once the fever broke the second time, the kid was aces. He's a tough kid. For those who don't know the backstory on James, uh, my 6-year-old son, I should say mine and Mrs. the Breaker's 6-year-old son, who's about to be 7 next week, was born 15 weeks early at only 1 pound 6.5 ounces. He was given a 50-50 chance to live. As you can see, he's almost 7. He is beautiful, he is smart, he is wonderful. But he's a little susceptible to getting sick. But I'll take that over the alternative. He's like, I feel the same way when Michigan loses, when I can't watch them. It's all my fault. I have to be sitting in the same chair with either my home or road jersey, depending on who they're playing. Steven, thank you. Steven says, I'm glad James is feeling better. Yeah, he was like literally Monday. He's like, I want to go to school. We're like, we can't. You had a fever. You have to wait 24 hours, bud. You have to stay home. He's like, oh, okay, that works too. I'm playing Xbox. So yeah, so he's fine. He gets sick. What else? I feel like something else happened this week. I don't remember what it was. Could have been that great. Could have been that serious. Tell my namesake to stay. I will. I will, Chef. Yeah, it is just a game, man. It is. So, speaking of, so Mrs. the Breaker. Now, as you know, I have openly talked about my diagnosis in the Crucial Catch video we did. I also, even before then, made everybody aware of who John Mechie III was, a former Alabama wide receiver and wide receiver currently for the Houston Texans, who in training camp was diagnosed with a very, very treatable form of leukemia. And is actually, from what I've been told, halfway done with his chemo. It is going well, and it's going so well that he's actually training with his teammates. So very exciting news for the Houston Texans wide receiver. And as you know, I am not just a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. I am a fan of the NFL and the game itself. So with the blessing of Mrs. the Breaker, today I put my order in for my Nike Vapor Houston Texans John Mechie III number 8 jersey. Yes, that is, you heard it correctly. I am the proud owner of a John Mechie Houston Texans jersey. Should arrive in 2 weeks, and I will proudly wear that jersey for his first game when he steps on the field, whether it be at the end of this year or at the beginning of next. And I may even just wear it as a teaser at some point in the season, just to show my support, because this is bigger than the game. It is about people, their journey, and their life, and I have to respect that, and I do respect that. So again, shout out to John Mechie III. I'm so stoked that he's getting better, man. Right there it is. There's Mrs. the Breaker. Hello, Mel. Hello, Jimmy. That is my Christmas present from her. Or my Kwanzaa gift. Or my Festivus gift. Or my Hanukkah gift. One of my 8 crazy nights will be that jersey. Steven said, DC, if you see me watching a Raiders game, please kick me in the family jewels and save me 3 hours and less pain. But wait, weren't you guys up by 17 points? Doug's back for a bit. Mrs. the Breaker says, I was chatting on YouTube, but it's not popping up on the stream. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. the Breaker. Dan Casenberry for 2014. Did he also have that too? Chef knows I actually used to live outside of Houston. Mrs. the Breaker and I, we re-met in Houston in a place called Katy. And Fun fact, James was born just outside of Houston. So I actually do have ties to Houston. Full disclosure, more Katy than Houston, but I do have ties down there. And my son is, by birthright, a Texan. Steve is like, I'm leaving that chat. Yeah, he went to the Bills too at one point. Quessenberry, didn't he? It sounds like a familiar name. So yeah, the Mechie jersey has been purchased. It'll be the only non-Buffalo Bills jersey I own for the NFL, and I don't care. I'm gonna love that jersey just as much as my Jim Kelly jersey. Josh Allen and Doug have the same injury right now. Josh Allen's was throwing footballs. Doug's was from throwing me when I kept trying to add more hits into the brakes, and it was breaking him. Katy Freeway, the I-10 is the worst freeway in the country. Um, fun story. Mrs. The Breaker, plug your ears. Before I re-met Mrs. The Breaker, I was dating somebody from out of town. Briefly. I say briefly because when she came to Houston to visit, she drove around for 3 days and said, I'm leaving. This traffic is insanity. And that was the last I heard of her. Now, thankfully, I'm married with a hot wife and a beautiful son, so it worked out in the long run. I would never take the 10 over the 101. The 101 is not as bad as the 10. You have 3 Spielman jerseys, Detroit, Buffalo, and Cleveland. Yes. Chris Spielman. Love it. Hey Mel, you haven't seen this yet because I didn't open it at home. He sent me the black variant, 00 out of 10. And that is gold foil inlay, by the way. Oh, you did see it. Okay. 00. That is crazy. That is the coolest thing in the world. I am very honored and stoked to have that in my collection. That is not leaving. Wait until you see the 10 on Thanksgiving and Christmas weekend. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the Bills are playing Thanksgiving. It has become a bit of a tradition that Buffalo plays Thanksgiving now. Mrs. The Breaker, I have to tell you, um, Steven said I can hand deliver the art to him. So expect sometime in the next like week or so for me to go down to where they live and hang out with Steven. I'm not asking, I'm telling. Don't hurt me. Sapuros! Are they gonna beat the Lions like a drum? One of these days, the Lions are going to roar. They're going to show exactly how good their team is. They're about a quarterback away. And once they get that guy under center, my goodness, I'm telling you, you guys are going to have to watch out for the Lions. The Lions have some absolutely knockout, drag down talent. They just need somebody under center. They just need that one last piece on defense. Excuse me. The let's talk about the Bills' record on Thanksgiving. Um, it all started 2 years ago in Dallas, which is widely regarded as the official Josh Allen coming out party. That is where Josh Allen proved that he can shine in the prime time by putting a whooping on the heavily favored Dallas Cowboys. And I should know I was in attendance in Dallas. My brothers, my father, and I flew in for the occasion. Yeah, I know. Sepulros, if they could only have a guy like Stafford. They were with the talent they have now. I'm talking Stafford pre-elbow, not Stafford now. I love turducken, Kevin P. West. I love turducken. I have had the pleasure of having turducken twice. Not prepared professionally, but prepared by professional French chefs. Ones that didn't cook like chef cooks, but were just whizzes in the kitchen and probably could have been paid chefs if they wanted to be. Stafford is a great player, but the problem is his elbow is not right. His elbow is not fixed. He cannot put the ball 40 yards down the field accurately right now. He's got to dump it off within 20 yards and let them run after the catch. Unfortunately, that's the fact of the matter. As much as he's tried to push the ball downfield, it's just not as accurate as it was. He has been getting pounded. The right side of his line is not well. Yeah. Yeah, it's almost as bad as, not as bad, but almost as bad as Cincinnati's line. Hey, I got an idea. Let's draft a wide receiver instead of a much needed left tackle. No time to throw downfield. None. Yeah, it's right. It's true. No, Doug, absolutely. All right. Hi, Hannah. See you later. Oh, Tampa. I love it. Tom Brady caused Miami so much trouble, lost his wife, lost his dignity, and a lot of respect to come back to this turd sandwich of a season. I love seeing Tom Brady fail. I'm a Bills fan. I have to. They will actually take my Bills Mafia card, shoot me in the head, and leave me in a ditch if I don't hate Tom Brady. So I am relishing in the fact that his life, both personal and professional, is in shambles. Maybe you shouldn't have cheated or tried to cheat. Maybe you should have been a little more honest. And maybe, just maybe, you should have listened to your wife. Because happy wife, happy life. And right now, doesn't have a happy life. He has one more. Rodgers, yeah, man. At least they're not paying him a boatload of money. Exactly. Joe is better than Tom. Joe Mama? Yeah, I'm honestly, I'm disappointed in Green Bay. Yeah, her too. Geno Geno Smith, man, listen, I am gonna. This is what there's three really good things that have come out of the Geno Smith thing. The first one is that if you prepare and you study and you understand the system and you stay true to work ethic, you can succeed at something you love. That is the first and foremost. God bless Geno Smith. The man never gave up and pursued his dream and was kicked from team to team. And he still stayed positive. And unlike a lot of backup quarterbacks, actually stayed with the training regiment and continued to improve himself. God bless Geno Smith. The second thing that comes out of this is we are finally seeing who is honest when it comes to the reporters for the NFL. I listen to Sirius XM radio. Um, when I listen to Papa and Weiss and all of those guys, every one of them admits, I didn't see Geno Smith coming. I never would have seen this from Geno Smith. I didn't expect Geno Smith to do this. Those people are saying, yeah, I'm not going to tell you I called this. Obviously, I never did. Then you have Twitter, and you have the YouTube pundits, and you have the Instagram heroes. Oh, I've been calling Geno Smith since all time. Look at my video back in 2014. I said he was the man. Woo, Geno Smith. No, you're a liar. You said it in 2014 because he was starting in 2014. It has nothing to do with 2022. Be quiet. So I love to see people being held accountable and actually saying, no, I didn't know he was going to be this great. I'm happy he is. And the third thing is it's about time Seattle caught a break. Because I thought they were phoning it in after the trade, not realizing Danger Russ was Russ T behind that line. No good. Yeah, Twitter not much longer. Oh yeah. Listen, here's my opinion, and my opinion does not reflect that of DCD Collects. That was a purposeful tank job. Here's my thought. He put everybody on an 85-hour work schedule so that they would quit and he wouldn't have to pay them out by firing. Those he did fire, he did give above the minimum requirements for the state of California so that nobody would come back and say that he wasn't giving fair compensation. But in essence, paying $44 billion for a $12 billion company, he is pulling a playbook out of a certain billionaire who lost $100 billion 8 years ago and hasn't had to pay taxes since. By putting up a massive loss in a business that fails and goes bankrupt, for the next, let's say, 5 years, he will single-handedly be able to claim zero taxes due to business losses. Ergo, he sinks Twitter, which he was not a fan of to begin with. Part of the money comes from investors, so it's not out of his own pocket. But as the CEO and the boss, he gets to write it all off. So I think Twitter was a tank job. There's my hot take. Go ahead and clip that and send it wherever you want to. I stand by my statement. Hellbolt's like, I believed in the Hawks. That is a true statement. Hellbolt has never wavered from Seattle. Fact. Never wavered from Seattle. My conspiracy theory makes sense if you think about it. It really does. I just read the if you're able to get to the office and don't, we consider that resignation comment from today. Yeah. Yeah. I'm telling you. It's a tank job. Um I have worked for billion-dollar companies before. One of the companies I worked with 4 jobs ago did about 40 billion annually. I have photographs of me hanging out with Warren Buffett, literally resting my chin on Warren Buffett's shoulder for photo ops. So I've been around big business. Um, this is a tank job. It is. This is purposeful. This is calculated, and it is executed sloppily to show ineptitude so that they can get the payoff for the loss. Pete is going to be the first 100-year-old coach. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah. I've heard nothing good from anybody I know that has worked for companies that he has run. No, Tesla is actually in Buffalo, and it is like a 2 out of 5-star rating to work at because there's no leeway. It's totalitarian. Chef said, I tossed that in my nugget for a second, and yeah, it makes sense. It does. I'm not going to name drop, but there is a certain billionaire who lost $100 million half, 3/4 of a decade ago, and has had to pay taxes because of it. Because you can write off your corporate losses. Separo says, I've lived about 10 minutes from their factory in Cali. Steven says, since we've been talking sports, does Kawhi Leonard still play basketball? You know, that's a good question. I'll have to Google it. I know as much about basketball as Chef knows about what color underwear I'm wearing currently. Clippers, technically. Silk purple boxers with hearts. All right, I stand corrected. He knows a lot about the underwear I'm wearing right now. Awkward. Yeah, Kawhi was last with the Clippers. I have no idea where he is now. The Vikings. So the Vikings have a good defense. And the Vikings have a lot of weapons for receivers. All Kirk Cousins has to do is get the ball in the vicinity and they'll make the catch. No, Kawhi's actually injured, I believe. I don't think he's healthy. But yeah, he's popping off at the mouth per usual. I mean, who am I to say? My job is kind of I open boxes and make funny comments. So I just don't make fun of people that don't deserve it. Just being facetious. One of my favorite words, facetious. It's the only thing I know that rhymes with Bocephus. Man, I'm feeling froggy. I wonder if they did leave at least something for me to like sneak. I'll be right back. Nope. Oh wait, what's that? No. Yeah, yeah. They really did take everything. They took all of it, so I can't do spoilers. They took every single break coming out the next 2 weeks, and they took it out of the office. I can't even do spoilers if I wanted to. He's like, DC, I did watch the video. I did see that. We're not going to be using all of that, right? I'm like, I mean, I got bored. Yeah, so I had to leave the so today I was here from like 10:30 on or 10 o'clock on, and then I had to leave to pick James up off the bus. And when I came back from picking James up from the bus, all of the art was gone. After I got a stern talking to, I came in the office and it was all gone. And I'm like, where are all the runs? Text. Trevor's like, oh, I'm going to take them home. I'm like, what? Oh, so I don't show everybody. Okay. I get it. It makes sense. I'm not happy, but it makes sense. Oh, man. Thought it was something. It's nothing. Man, I got nothing. I got nothing to show. I know I'm not allowed to talk about those. I want to shout out my floral design students for my gift today. Made my rough couple of weeks turn around. Chef, those flowers were beautiful. I bet you they smelled fantastic too. So, fun fact, my grandmother owned a flower shop in Orlando. She used to cater to a lot of the Orlando Magic and the Backstreet Boys and a lot of the other O Town talent. My grandmother Alice, who's no longer with us, my mother's mother, owned a company called Alice's Victorian Floral. And she was one of the first people to have those machines that allow you to stuff balloons with animals and flowers. And because she was smart enough to pay the $1,000 for that machine, she was one of the first people in the greater Orlando area to be able to stuff balloons with teddy bears and flowers. And thus, Shaquille O'Neal and Penny Hardaway and all those guys, including I think Lance Bass, all would buy flowers, bouquets, and stuffed balloons from her. So I actually did spend a summer working in the floral shop. They did even after cooking 5 dozen eggs. Well, it's a good smelling flower then. If it can outlast eggs. So speaking of smells, Robbie Van Winkle too. I didn't ask her. I don't know if that was when he moved to LA pretty early in his career. But I do have friends that are actually legitimate friends with him, like as in like known him since they were little friends. I can ask. My free Grand Slam breakfast tomorrow. I have about 4 or 5 things lined up for tomorrow. There is a store called From the Earth that is by my house. Shout out to From the Earth. They are having a BOGO Veterans Day sale that I will likely be shopping. Shout out to From the Earth. Um, yeah, I have a lot of food places I could go to. I haven't like chains I know of. I'm sure there's local places that I'm not aware of, this being still fairly new. Speaking of fairly new, I did get a car this week. For those who are unaware, I used to have a really beautiful 2015 Audi A3 that I got for a steal. Like, no joke, an absolute steal. The only reason I bought it was because it's used. I don't buy used, or I don't buy new cars typically. Poor. So I usually buy used cars, but I was able to get a really great deal on this Audi, and I loved it. And I had to sell it to move here because of the expense. And so Mrs. the Breaker and I have been just sharing one vehicle for the last 4 months, and anybody who has an active family knows that can be very difficult. So, um, thanks to a very generous gift from a dear friend that I love, that I don't get to see nearly enough. I did get a gift money um, to put as a down payment for a vehicle. Now I went all over Hollywood and LA and Ventura looking to spend X amount of dollars. I didn't want to. I wanted to pay cash for a very inexpensive car, but I'm finding that even though the market is getting better, it's still hard to find a reliable, decent car. So I did a little research and I pulled some Carfaxes, and in Oxnard, I went to actually buy a car that was no longer there. So um, I ended up with a 2015 uh, BMW 328 L or I. I can't think it's the I. It's got 100,000 miles on it, which in California is not a big deal. Everything here is highway far away. Um, I have owned used BMWs before in my life. I tend to gravitate towards them because they tend to be reliable. You can drive them for 200,000 miles, and they're good. The only thing is when they break down, it's expensive. But I, knock on wood, haven't had issues with one. But it's black. I'm not a huge fan of black cars, especially in the warm climate. And so I got the car, and I was pretty stoked because it's nice. It's got all the bells and whistles. It's got decent gas mileage because it's a thanks, gentlemen built. It's a four banger. It's not a six. I used to have an '04 330i, which was the inline six, and that car flew. That car did 140 when you have the governor overridden. I know this. I loved that car. I actually sold that car to Mrs. the Breaker's brother, who did a ton of work on it and has the thing absolutely immaculate. Um, this is just a four banger, so it's not bad on gas. It is a turbo. It's black. I'm not a black fan of cars. I typically go for lighter colors just because of the heat. All right, Ice Wolf, love you, brother. But the 3 Series are the smaller ones, and they're pretty dang reliable. They tend to, as long as you take care of them and do the maintenance, they're fine. So the car's in great shape. I do have to get one of the tires. It got a bit of a wobble, so I'm taking it in to get rebalanced. Other than that, I haven't found an issue with the car. Except, I don't want to offend anybody when I say this. But the car, when you get in it and you turn on the air vent, has a very specific how do I say this delicately? It smells like curry. Yeah, it's got a bit of a curry tinge to it. Oh, it's not herbal. Well, I guess curry is technically spice, herbal. I mean, if it smelled like weed, that wouldn't bother me. I live in California. Driving down the highway near Carpinteria, just driving the highway, you just smell all of the weed, the cannabis farms in Carpinteria. That doesn't bother me. So my car smells like curry. Now, thankfully, I like curry. Curry chicken is something that I get down with. But it's a bit strong. So today I bought a bottle of Febreze and the matching Febreze car vent clips. And currently there is a battle for my nose's soul going on in my car between the giant curry monster and the Febreze ocean scent, which, if I would have thought a little harder on it, probably wouldn't have chosen because it does not accent the curry at all. It is quite contradicting, and it's rough. It is rough. It is rough. Um, yeah. But if I drive with the windows down and I use the Febreze every day and I vent from the outside and don't circulate the air on the inside, I'm hoping in a month or two it'll be okay. Did it come? I love naan. I love naan. I am an eater of the world. I am Galactus. I am the Galactus of food. I will eat the entire world of food. Um, Galactus of food. I love naan. As a matter of fact, I am a huge fan of shawarma, traditional shawarma. I have eaten goat, I have eaten lamb, I have even eaten horse on naan with a tzatziki sauce. When I was in the Middle East, I was stationed on an aircraft carrier out of Florida. I could go to a detail place and ozone it, but I'm not spending $200. McGuire's deodorizer. We'll take that up. Take a picture of that comment. And I'm going to use that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for cars or want to make your car absolutely fantastic, listen to nobody else in your life but Gentleman Built. That's a guy who knows cars. Hey, GB, if they want to make their car look extra special, where would you send them, my friend? You do have a striking resemblance to Andrew Zimmer. Well, Ruru 2, I thought we were friends. But you are off my Kwanzaa list, friend. Chef's like, my students will be learning duck next Friday. I love duck. If you can control the greasy oiliness of duck, it is fantastic. I have partaken in Peking duck, and it is delectable. I had the privilege of eating Peking duck, the type of Peking duck that you have to order 24 hours in advance so they can prep it for you. I will spare no expense on food. Food, you get what you pay for, period. Anybody telling you different is lying to you. Sounds like it's saying it smells like my childhood friend's house. I, again, love curry. I do. I am a huge fan of curry. I just wasn't expecting to open my vents and be blasted in the face with it when I spent money on a car. I know nothing and I know nothing real good, right? Yep. Straight from Beijing. Yeah, that's amazing. Stuffed with an apple and fennel risotto. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, So I'll finish my previous statement. When I was in the service, I was stationed on the USS John F. Kennedy. It's an aircraft carrier that doesn't exist anymore. It's been decommissioned. Unfortunately, it has been sent to Corpus Christi to be turned into razor blades. But when the Big John was kicking, I was in Bahrain and Dubai and El Jabal Ali and El Aqaba. And when I was in those cities, I took the advice of my MM1, um, MM1 Johnson, and he said, "I am going to tell you the best piece of advice that I can for somebody who's on their first tour. The inside of a bar in Spain looks exactly like the inside of a bar in Kansas City. You need to leave the bar to actually experience the town, the city, and the country." So I did that. I took that to heart. After the second port, I took that to heart. I was 19, so legal drinking age in Europe is yes. So the first two ports, I was hammered because it was the only time I could ever go to a bar and drink. But after I sobered up those first two ports, which I don't even remember the city I was in, I learned to take the tours and enjoy local cuisine and find out where the locals eat and drink. And because of that, I have built a palate that is so wide ranging that, yeah, I probably could fill in for Andrew Zimmer. Although I don't have the heart to eat brains, and that's actually one of his favorite foods. Oh man, you were 12. Oh, yeah, no offense, man. That was lost on you then. Um, yeah, but yeah, I love food. I will try anything once, food wise. Case in point, I'll give you a great example. Steven says, when I was at the job training in the army, the female drill sergeant would always complain of the smell at bed check. Then the guys would start spraying Febreze, usually apple scent, and she would say that it smelled like apple scented butt. Yeah, I can see that. Um, so example, I was about a month ago. I was at Doug's house. I don't live very far from Doug, and Doug's mother-in-law was there from Denmark. Oh, Doug, we're just talking about your mother-in-law in a good way. We're talking about food. So I'm going to tell the story of the candy. You know the actual name of the candy. I don't remember the name of the candy, but I'm going to describe it. So the official candy of Denmark is black licorice stuffed with salt, like heavy rock granulated salt. It's salt. It's black licorice stuffed with salt. And that they love it. That's their thing. That's what they eat. She had brought some from Denmark. And Doug said this is the most disgusting stuff on the salt licorice. Well, hell, I thought it had a special name. So exactly like I said, it's licorice stuff with salt licorice. Um, and Doug's like, this is the most awful stuff you'll ever taste. Yeah. And I said, I will try it, knowing that it's going to be terrible. Because I don't even like black licorice to begin with. I'm not an anise fan. I'm not. Or anise. However, it's pronounced. I'm not a fan. And I don't even put added salt in my diet to begin with. So there's two things I don't like put together. I'm going to try it because I told myself the only way you really are going to experience life is if you actually say it. Salt pastiller. Salt pastiller. Salt pastiller. I'm sure she would say it a much more abrupt way. I can't say it right. So they came in a stick about this big, like four good bites, and I took a bite, and it was as bad as Doug said it would be. It was pretty awful. But I am a man of my word. I finished the entire stick. It was not good, but I tried it. I now know it's not good, and I will never try it again. Good and plenty. Yeah, so that's an example of not saying no to food. I was saying I'm like Galactus. I'm like I will eat planets of food. I don't care. I will try it all. I'm gonna eat all the food. If somebody's like, here, try this, I'll try it. When I was in the Middle East, they were like, here, eat this. I'm like, what is it? They're like, just eat it. We'll tell you afterwards. Always a bad sign, but I was like, fine, I'll eat it. I was like, all right, it's a little tough. What is it? They're like, it's horse. I'm like, it's a little tough. It's not bad. And like three people spit it out, and I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm finishing it. Like it. I mean, I don't like horses, so kind of like I considered it revenge for killing Superman. Flödeboller is amazing. It's marshmallow fluff on a wafer dipped in chocolate. Now that's something I could get behind. Send him an MRE from different countries. I have had a lot of MREs. The Danes have so many good things that come out of there. Salt licorice is not one of them. Chef's like, yeah, it reminds me, I forgot to get my blue salt. I One of the jobs in Kringle is an amazing pastry ring. You can buy those at Trader Joe's. Um, the what was I gonna say? I got sidetracked when he said sharks. Because I was gonna say, yeah, I've eaten shark before, but he's not talking about those sharks. Oh, MREs. One of my jobs on my ship was the DCPO. The DCPO is the Damage Control Petty Officer. It was actually before I made Petty Officer. I was only a fireman at the time, and they had the Marines on board. We're clearing out the rations at the end of the trip of the cruise that we did, because by the next cruise it'd be all gone. All right, take care, Steven. See you later, Maddie. Thankless job. So the Marines asked for help to dispose of these things because you actually cannot dispose of the main courses for MREs in a traditional manner because they have a chemical reactant in them that when you open them to air, they immediately reach boiling. Some of them are water reactant, where you open them, you add liquid water, and it boils instantly. So, because of the chemical reaction inside those packets, you cannot traditionally throw out certain parts of MREs unless you open them first um, and hit that chemical. So, we had to open all of the MREs to react. These weren't the water ones; they were the air ones. As soon as you pulled the tab, it had like the sides were it was a pouch about this big, and it had thick sides. Like the center of it had like wings that you would hold. Because once you ripped the top, it started boiling, and it got hot. It would be boiling hot. So you held the side of it until it stopped boiling, and once it cooled off, you would just eat it. It was like beef stroganoff was one, like a chicken gumbo was another, and I don't remember what the other one was, like spaghetti or something like that. It was terrible, but I ate it. Didn't I tried all of them. I was like, well, we're gonna throw it out. I might as well try it. They all came with like M&Ms, which was cool. They came with little ration pills, these little tiny pills that you put in water, and it would flavor your water. And it also had like vitamin C and iodine and something else in there. The iodine was to clear the water in case you didn't have potable water. It would be a flavoring vitamin C and uh, iodine. The ready to eat part is debatable. It's sustenance. It's not fun. We saved. I walked back. I'm not joking, with 500 mini packets of M&Ms. Yeah, it did have a salt and pepper packet. It had a Tabasco packet. I don't think it was Tabasco. I want to say it was Texas Red Hot. Texas. I want to say it was Texas Red Hot. Was the brand specific brand of the hot sauce and the ones that we had. And then in addition to the iodine tablet, it was something else too. Crackers. There were crackers in all of them. And they were like enriched crackers. We did have OBAs. So OBA stands for something breathing apparatus. On oxygen breathing apparatus. So OBAs were the single most dangerous thing we dealt with in the Navy. This thing was meant for firefighting, and as a firefighter in the Navy, I had to don one. The great thing about these is it was an external set of lungs. I'm not joking, that's literally what they were. Let's look them up. So the OBA was an external set of lungs that you would wear over your chest, and then you would put in an OBA canister. And the canister was, ha 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 ha, this is so great. I love it. I love it. Here it is. So the center shiny black part that you see is where the canister goes, and you pull a tab on the top of the canister, and you pull the tab off, and the oxygen reacts with what is inside the canister, and you push it up into your thing, and then there's a lever, that black lever at the top above the shiny black base piece. You would push down, and that would lock in this canister. Now, it's extremely important that you lock in this canister, because if water gets into the canister, it'll violently explode with the force of 5 sticks of dynamite. I'm going to repeat that in case you missed it. If you got water inside of the canister, it would explode with the force of 5 sticks of dynamite. The question you ask is, DC, when would you wear that? To fight fires with a hose that squirted water. And in case you missed it the first 2 times, if you get water inside the canister, it explodes with the force of 5 sticks of dynamite. Needless to say, the Navy no longer uses those. But for decades, that is your standard firefighting gear of the Navy. Have I ever been the special person that was able to put the canister in backwards? No. What he's referring to is yeah, better not sweat, all right? While fighting a fire. The canister for the OBA is curved to match the curve of your body, to hug the curve of your body. So it can only go in one way. If you flip it around and try to put it in there, it doesn't lock. And if you force it in, it will be jammed and you've destroyed the OBA. So yes, I have had to don one of these once or twice. What appears to be the 1870s. Nope, that would be the 1990s. Yeah, that was it. That's what we wore. That is the OBA. Good stuff. There's the OBA in a canister. There you go. A little insight to some of the stuff that I had to deal with. Part of the early 2000s, yeah, because they were still using them when I was in 01. Still, that was the last time I saw one. Yeah, we had 3 breathing apparatuses. We had the OBA to fight fires. We had the Seed, which was a little yellow canister with a mouthpiece that you would use if you were going below the water line. And what that did is it gave you 60 seconds of oxygen to, if you had a breach, you would put that in your mouth and you would let the water carry you to the portal, of which you would then try to close the portal. But the Seed only gave you, and it was submersible. It was the only one that was submersible, but it only gave you 60 seconds. Well, I lied. It's technically 3 minutes, but the average person panicking will get 60 seconds out of it. So they told us it's built for 3 minutes. You will get 1. Figure it out. Second boat swap Scott air packs. Yeah, they moved to Scott packs after after I was off the ship. They got Scott packs. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for actually. Goodness, I was due for a really strong bout with PTSD. Now I have something to get me back into the swing of that. Horror years. Oh, the sea stories. I will definitely curl up into the fetal position tonight and cry myself to sleep. Thank you, chef. But no, seriously, it's what you signed up for, so it didn't bother me. I did what I had to do. I didn't have to fight any fires, but those who can, let me see if I can get the light to shine on it. If you look right there, you can actually see I have a divot in my head. Right there, you can see it. That divot, or you can see where the hair doesn't grow there anymore. That divot was from fighting a fire. Or I should say, oh, there you go. There's a good view. That is a chunk of my scalp that was missing. I was responding to a fire. Yep, there it is. That is my Medal of Honor. Nothing like asking the SEAL what that canister was that you used to as a step stool was. um, yeah. So I was actually running. I was a boundryman. For those who are interested in firefighting on a ship, you have hosesmen, boundrymen. You have seekers. I think they were called the people that find the fire in the smoke. They have this scanning. I don't remember what it's called, but you would scan the smoke and you could see where the fire was. It would show it like a TV screen. It was really old and unreliable, but we used it. It would find hot spots. Anyway, nifty. Holy crap, chef. You have this stuff really ingrained in your head. Seekers and bludgers. Yeah, that's right. I was thinking Harry Potter. I get my Navy time confused with Harry Potter. But the Nifty, that is what it was called. The Nifty, it had two modes. It had scan mode and it had spot mode. I wasn't one of those people. My job was a boundaryman. When they set the boundaries for the fire, they would say, they would ring the bell and say, fire, 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 fire at, let's say, 2 tack 235 tack 1. So it would be the second floor below the flight deck, uh, stanchion 234, and then it was one stanchion inbound, or outbound. And that's where you knew where the fire was. So then they would, once you got there, they would set up the boundary around the fire. That was my job. I would go on the other side of the wall of the fire and I would have a hose. It was a low pressure hose, so you only needed one man. And if the wall that I was in charge of a wall, if the wall I was in charge of started bubbling, or melting, or the paint started bubbling, my job is to hose down the wall to keep that wall cold, because that means the fire is on the other side of that wall. So that was my job. I was a boundaryman. So we get a major lube oil spill in one main. And lube oil spills would often lead to fires. I am the first guy to park a Trident submarine at depth for divers and SEAL teams. That is impressive and awesome. I don't have any cool stories like that, except for maybe this one. So I hear the bells go off, and it says lube oil spill, and because lube oil very quickly can become a fire in the main space of a ship, because the main space is 129 degrees at its coolest. I start buttoning up my fireproof or fire retardant coveralls, rolling down the sleeves, and I start running. You scream, "Make a hole, gangway, gangway, make a hole," and I'm running to where I got to go. Girl, brand new to the ship, ship, Freudian slip, brand new to the ship. You could tell because her coveralls were still shiny. They were still actually flame retardant, unlike ours, where the flame retardant chemical washes off and they're no longer shiny. So she freezes seeing me coming. So what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to drop my shoulder and bury her right through the walkway as I run through her to get to the fire, because at that moment, I'm not exaggerating, this is law, I am more important than her in military standards. I am an emergency responder responding to an emergency. If you're in my way and I smash you into a wall, that's your fault, not mine. So I see this girl, she freezes, she like deer in the headlights, and I'm like, I have two choices. I can jump around her, or I can bury my shoulder, duck my head, and plow through her. Unfortunately, I'm really nice, so I decided to jump around her. Now, I am 6 foot tall. The overhead of the ship is about 6'3". I'm running, and now I'm jumping around somebody. I clip the angle iron of the overhead. No big deal. I hit that thing, whomp. I hit the ground. I jump back up and I start running again. And I'm running really fast. I know I'm running really fast because the sweat is pouring down my face because I am running so white lightning fast. Except that sweat is dark red. So I stop running. And as I stop, I see this. Everywhere I look, blood is spraying. So I'm like, oh, all right, there it is. So I jam my finger in the hole And now I'm sheepishly walking to medical, like, hey, Corman, I'm an idiot. Please fix my skull. And they're like, show me what's wrong. I'm like, I can't take my finger off it. I hit a minor artery. And they're like, you got to show me. I take it off. I hit Ginger. That was her name. I hit Ginger right in the face with a spurt of blood. And she's like, stop it. And I'm like, duh. I told you I couldn't take my hand off. So then she takes over. She jams her finger inside of my scalp. And they're like, well, the lube oil spill is beneath us. We have to take you to the hangar bay. Walk your dumbass to the hangar bay. So I did. I had this giant gauze that she removed her finger, put a gauze in there. Walked to the hangar bay. An hour goes by, and they clear everything. So I get back to medical, and they're like, yeah, you need some staples. Like, okay, staples. Now, you would think medical staples would be some big scientific special instrument that you would use. No, looks exactly like a staple gum you get from Home Depot. I'm not joking. The only difference is it's wrapped in a hermetically sealed plastic pouch. So he pulls the pouch apart, pulls out the plastic stapler, and says, oh, by the way, we didn't get any lidocaine at our last protocol. We are all out. I can offer you a tongue depressor. And I said, what is the tongue depressor going to do? And he said, it's to bite down on so that when you scream, it doesn't hurt as much. Cool. I'll take the tongue depressor, please. Just like in the movies, I got the tongue depressor into my mouth. And this Corman is like, push, push, push. I would love to say it has a gratifying click to it, but it's muffled by the meat hanging out of my head. So as he's doing the third staple into my melon, none other than the executive officer of the ship, our captain, strolls into medical. And in the most cavalier, gallant TV, made for TV move, goes, puts his hand on my shoulder as I'm laying on the table, goes, shipmate, are you all right? I have a tongue depressor in my mouth. I'm like, yes, sir, I'm fine. And as he says that, the doctor goes, or the corpsman goes, we need one more staple. And the XO goes, show me. And he leans over my head. And the corpsman goes to the captain and goes, would you like the honors? And the captain goes, no, I think you can handle it, Doc. So thump, he puts the fourth staple in my skull. It was a V-shaped. It was a V-shaped divot, which, despite the fact I got staples put in my skull, it only ended up being this little dot gouge. Anybody who meets me will be able to see it. It's not super noticeable unless you're looking for it, but it's right at my hairline. And it used to be a V. Now it is like a bump and a line. So despite very shoddy work, I have a very minimal scar to show for it. That was maybe the third most traumatic thing that happened to me in the Navy. I can still remember the sound, hairline. Doug's like, hairline. I've said that too. All right, what would have been my hairline? What would have been my hairline? Where where the little bit of hair does actually still grow. Um, I thought you were Doug. Um, I can, and this is not an exaggeration, this is true. If I stop and think about it hard enough, I can still remember the sound of my head hitting the angle iron, the sound it made in my ears of my skull hitting it was a vent. So it was an angle iron on the end of a vent, but the vent was about a 12-inch hollow tube. So it went funk. And I can still hear the funk in my ears of the impact, the sickening impact of skull hitting angle iron. I can't feel like I don't have the sympathy pain. Like I can't remember how it felt with them. I just remember expecting to hear a sound and it being like, imagine stapling a piece of pork. Uh, here's something you can try at home, kids. Grab your staple gun, not a standard staple, but your staple gun. Uh, go get a pork chop. Or better yet, see if you can get like a ham hock that's still got the outer skin on it. Let it get to like room temperature. Throw a couple staples in there. It's gonna sound like that. GB's like, you paint a really vivid picture. Man, when it's literally ingrained in your skull, you can remember it pretty vividly. And I am taking no liberties with that story on my son's life. That story is 99% true. Like the order that it may have happened might have been slightly off. But for the rest of it was spot on. Like that's really what happened. Like I won't forget that. And then afterwards, if it isn't bad enough, they're like, okay, here's some ibuprofen, go back to work. All right. 2 hours into working, I'm like, I am blinded by this headache. I'm certain I'm concussed. Can I go lay down? And they're like, no, that's the point. You can't lay down. You have to go back to work. We can't let you sleep. So go back to work. So I finished my shift. There's another 8 hours on there. Not much meat on the scalp. That is true. Not much meat up there at all. Believe me. And I was like 180 pounds. So I didn't have any extra meat anywhere. I was 6 foot 180. I was not a big dude. Yeah, rub some dirt on it. That's basically what they said. Chef's like, I have some small L-shaped scars to understand. Yeah, yeah. Yep. So then to add insult to injury, after the lube oil spills over, the XO goes on the 1MC and he's like, shipmates, I want to say thank you for the quick response to the lube oil spill. We were able to contain it before it became a fire. And I would like to remind everybody, while it is important to get to the lube oil spill or fire in a timely manner, we must take care to not injure yourselves or others because every person matters on this ship. And if you go down, somebody has to pick up your slack. And I'm thinking, you son of a gun, I didn't go down there. I'm still working. He's probably thinking, oh, they're going to send him to his rack to relax for a day. No, man, I didn't miss a shift. Nobody had to pick up for me. I was still working. Dry blood caked. I had a full head of hair at the time. Believe that. I did. Head still caked in blood. Walking around like I'm concussed. What do I need to fix? Nothing got done that day. I'm pretty sure they had me like changing batteries in the DC light boxes. They're like, give him a menial job. He's scrambled. He's like, yeah, typical EXO, yeah. So he's like, please get there, but don't run. Don't hurt yourself. People have to pick up your slack. And I'm like, hey, everybody, he's talking about me. Yeah, that was it. yeah, yeah. Um, fly poop out of pepper. Yeah, all right. Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, I did get like I did get to take an extra long shower though. Nobody bothered me uh, when I took the shower because after like 6 hours of caked on blood in my hair was crunchy, and I got into the shower and all the blood had dried. It was a lot of blood. I mean, I had to have lost a pint of blood in that. So mind you, it's Staples. So because it's Staples, they don't shave your head. They staple it, hairs and all. They try to get your hair out of the way, but it's you. They don't cut your hair. You have your hair. So I'm caked in blood. So it's crunchy. And like if I go like this, it's like pepper flakes of dry blood. So I get into the shower and I'm like trying to, my head is on fire with pain. And I'm trying to get all the dry blood out of my hair. And it's coming out in these like, uh, chef. That's right. I was just going to say crushed red pepper flakes. It was like crushed red pepper flakes, all different darknesses of red, just flying down in there to the point where the guy, because the drains, you're taking a shower with 8 other men. Yes, there is a wall on either side of you that is about 3 feet by 5 feet tall, but like you could pass soap to somebody from there and you can see the ankles of the person next to you. Not every one of them had a drain. They would all drain to one side. So my dried blood and gore is just falling into the water. And you wear shower shoes, by the way, on the ship. It's mandatory. Take care, dog. It's mandatory to wear shower shoes. So my shower shoes are covered in these flakes, and these flakes of my head are just floating by. And the guy next to me is like, "Who the hell is sprinkling that in the water?" And I'm like, "It's me." "What the hell is that?" I'm like, "It's my head." They're like, "That's disgusting." I was like, "Oh, I mean, I'm just bleeding. No big deal. Is what it is." All right, that's the story. That's story time. That's that's what I got for you. So yes, let's recap the day and let's take all the Navy stuff out of it. Card Killer, really awesome product that he had brought out. Pretty stoked about that. Shout out again to Card Killer. Um, the big one coming up next week is going to be from the vault, where you get to raid Doug's vault for his personal pieces of art. Listen, some of them literally have notes that say on the back of them, "To Doug, thank you." Like, not on the front. We would never put anything in there that was personalized on the front. Some of them actually do have pencil notes on the back. So these are legit. Like, they're from Doug's collection. You're getting the man's artwork. That's going to be next week. There is the pre-sale giveaway of the 2 Lokis that you will be entered for. There is a Satana who has a great story behind her that I will disclose next week. We have 8 more of these boxes, and if you buy one of those boxes, you will be getting a little giveaway item. Not little, actually, some of them are pretty big. I was going to surprise you guys with this, but since nobody bought one, I am now going to make this. I was going to give this to the first person who bought one, but nobody did. So now it's going into Gen Pop. This is the hardcover collector's edition official Clone War a company book. So now this will be randomly added to the giveaways as well. Told you I had Easter eggs behind me. And that's it. I got nothing else. I have taken my group of 20 and whittled you down to eight very loyal followers of the DCD Collects channel. But that's it. I am gonna go home. I am going to send a thank you note to Card Killer, and I'm gonna call it an evening. We're gonna come back and do it again tomorrow. I love each and every one of you. Excuse me, that was a book, not an Easter egg. Clearly, that noggin had an impact on your cognitive ability. That's that's true. That's right. See, permanent brain damage. Navy should be paying me more. I love each and every one of you, and I appreciate the time that you spend with us every single day and every single week. It means a lot, and we build these products bigger and better each and every time because of you, not because of ourselves. So thank you. Please take care of yourselves and each other. That's the only way we'll be able to do this again is if you do that. So, with that said, again, I will see you tomorrow. We will open up some things. Lots of giveaways tomorrow for those who get in on the breaks, and maybe even a giveaway for those who are just hanging out in the chat like you all have been now. So thank you, and